Hello, today I want to show you how to make these fun bracelets for summer. I'm using a stitch called Tubular Herringbone stitch, which I had a previous video using the same stitch, but we made hooped earrings last time. This time it's going to be a bracelet, and I'm using round seed beads. I know I normally use delicas, but for this project I'm going to use round seed beads. They are still a size 11, and they are still Miyuki, but the rounds this time. I also have Fireline in 6-pound weight. I see these are my beads, size 11 seed beads. I have a size 12 beading needle. I have 2 pairs of pliers for putting my jump rings on at the end. I have a little lobster claw clasp here and little wire guards or thread guards, as they're also called, and several jump rings so I can make the size a bit adjustable at the end. Okay, so that's everything. Let's get started. Okay, so to begin, we're going to cut 4 feet of our Fireline beading thread, and then we're going to pick up the first 4 beads that we want to use in our bracelet. Doesn't matter what colors we go with, we're going to freestyle the pattern today. So slide those 4 beads down towards the end, and then you're going to loop your thread around and come back up through the first 2 beads, like so. And when you pull that tight, they're going to be sitting next door to each other like this. And then you're going to bring your needle down through those second 2 beads, like that. And then we're going to pick up 2 more beads. And then you bring your needle down through the last 2 beads, creating another little loop. And then to complete that loop, you come back up through those 2 beads you've just added, like so. And this stitch is actually called a ladder stitch. If you've done some of my other videos, you probably recognize it. So we're picking up 2 more beads, coming back up through those last beads we've added, and pull that securely. And then you're going to bring your needle down through those final 2 beads we've just added. And now we need to close this and make a little loop. So we're going to bring our needle up through the very first 2 beads, the ones that the tail is coming out of, like so. And when we pull that tight, it's going to make a little tube like this. So now we want to take our needle and go down through the last 2 beads in that original row we made. So we're just closing up this little tube like that. And there we go. And so to get started with the beading, sorry for the bad camera work here for a second, we're just going to bring our needle up through the 2 beads to the left of where our thread is coming out. So we're working to the left. If you're left-handed, you're actually going to work to the right, but in this case, we're working to the left. So I have this little box now, and I'm going to start working around this little square to the left. So I pick up 2 more beads. I come down through the first bead in the row to the left of the string I have. So I come down through the first bead there, working to the left, and I have something that looks like that. And now I'm going to come up through the first bead in the row to the left, and I'm going to add 2 more beads. And again, I'm going to come down through the first bead in the row to the left. But then this time, I'm going to come up through the next 2 beads in the row to the left. So it ends up being a pattern. So this time I'm coming up 2, next time I'll come up 1, and we just alternate back and forth, which you'll see in a second. So now I'm going to add 2 more beads, and then I'm going to come down through the first bead. Whenever you're going down, you're just going down through 1 bead, but when you're coming up, you're alternating between 1 and 2. And then this time we're going up 1 because we went up 2 the last time. So come up 1 bead. And then we add 2 more. come down through the first bead in the row to the left, just down one bead. And then this time we're going to come up 2 beads to the left, like so. Okay, and let's do that again. So you really get the hang of it. We're going to add 2 more beads, come down through the top first bead in the row to the left, and this time we're coming up 1 bead to the left. And when you sort of follow the line of your thread, you'll be able to see whether it's you're coming up 2 beads or 1 bead. It can be hard to keep track of, but if you look at it, you could tell. So we picked up 2 more beads, and now we're going to go to the left. And then this time we're coming up 2 beads. And if you see, your thread is really lined up. Your tail is lined up to where you want it to be. So we're coming up 2 beads. But basically it's 2, then 1, then 2, then 1. And so now we're picking up another 2 beads, and we are going down 1 bead. And then we're coming up 1 bead this time. And that is the pattern, and that's really all there is to this tubular herringbone stitch if you're doing it just 4 beads wide. I want you to just keep building that until you have a good 3 or 4 inches. Once you get a hang of it, vary up your colors, try some color experiments, and meet me back here. In the next step, I'm just going to show you how I end a thread and then add a new thread. Oh, and here I left this in so you can see I made a mistake. I've added 3 beads instead of 2. So I'm going to pull my needle off, pull those 3 beads off, and then I have to rethread my needle, and then I just keep going. Normally I edit out the mistakes, but I wanted you to see that I do make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, and it's okay. You just keep going and don't get frustrated with yourself and go slowly. This should be a peaceful process. There's no reason to rush and hurry. Just be mindful and take it slowly and enjoy the act of creating something really beautiful. Okay, so I'll see you back here in a second when we will replace our thread so we can keep beading. Okay. Okay, so here we are. I have beaded this much. I'm playing around with my colors, and my thread is short, so I need to weave it into my work. So I'm just going to slide down some beads, and I want to create tension. I don't really want to make knots in this work because they can show. So I'm going to secure the thread by just creating tension around these beads. So I'm going to go down another group of beads here, and then the 2 that are next door to each other, what I'm going to do is just sort of weave around them. This is the second time now I'm doing this. Feel free to do it as many times as you want to feel secure. I like to do it at least 2 or 3 times, sometimes 4. So I'm going down again, and then I am creating some tension by weaving around these beads. So 2 beads that are sort of next to each other. Make sure you're doing it in a way where your thread is hidden. And just go back and forth, zigzag, just make sure that's secure. And I'm ready to clip that. And to add a new thread, I have now, I'm just going to find a good starting point and do the same thing, basically anchor that thread by looping around these 2 sets of beads, creating some more tension. And on this side, you could definitely like pull and see and make sure that thing is not going anywhere before you start weaving again. So you see I've started sort of halfway down and I'm working my way up to where I need to start my beading. I'm pulling tight, make sure that's secure. And now I am ready to carry on. I'm going to carry on with this bracelet. And in a second, I'm going to show you how I measure. Okay, so here we are. I'm starting to get some length here. I'm going to measure my wrist, and it is just about exactly 6 inches. And so that's where I want my beadwork to end, because we're going to add in the hardware and the little wire guards and everything, which is going to add on about an extra 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch to our piece. Okay, so now I have 6 inches, and so I can go ahead and add my hardware. But I want to close up these little loops at the top. So I'm going to bring my needle up through the beads to the left, and then I'm going to go back to the right so I can complete that loop. I want all the loops to be attached at the top, basically. So I go back to the right, and now I have that. And then I'm going to go back to the right again and come up, and then I'm going to close off that loop. So we need little thread bridges across all of these bead groupings at the top, at the very end there. So we're going to come up to the right again, and that's completed that loop. And now if you take a look at the top, there are thread bridges between all of the 4 sides there. And now we could add our thread guard. So we pull our needle through the thread guard, pull that down to the piece, and we want the other side of it to come out diagonally. So I want that bead right diagonally across, and I'm going to bring my needle down through those top 2 beads there. So it's diagonal from the other side. I have a little bit of a twist here. Okay, now I've done that, and then I want to go back through that wire guard again so that it's very secure. So I'm going to work down into the beadwork. I really apologize for the awful beadwork here, or for the camera work. I'm not sure what went wrong, but basically I'm going to go down and find a path to be able to get up through that thread guard again. So I'm going down, and then I'm going to go over and find my way back to the outside edge of that thread guard so I can then loop around it again and make sure that is extra secure. So I'm slowly making my way over there off camera. I'm not sure what happened here. It might have been the fault of the kid. He's been making my life difficult with videos lately. Okay, but here I finally made it, and I'm coming up the outside edge of that thread guard. And then I'm going to go back down the other side. And then after that, I'm just going to weave my needle back in the same way when we were ending a thread. So pull that down through there. And then I'm just going to take my needle and go into the beadwork and really just weave and wrap that around until it's super secure. Always err on the side of doing more than you think you need to, especially with a bracelet, because a bracelet does take a lot of wear and tear, much more so than, say, earrings or even a necklace. So bracelets, just be extra secure, err on the side of, securing more than you need to. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing that. And then when we get back here, we will add on our findings and our jump rings, and we'll be almost done. Okay, so see you in a second. Okay, so here we are. I have finished the wire guards on both sides, and I'm going to add this lobster claw at the end. So first I need to open this jump ring. That's not quite enough. I'm going to grab 2 pliers, and I want to open it so one side's going away from me and one side's going towards me. You never want to pull a jump ring left to right. So I've done that, and then I'm putting them back together. And always just go just as much as you need to. Don't open it too wide. And so now that is secure. Make sure there's no gaps in your jump ring. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to take this jump ring, again, opening it so one side's going towards me, one side's going away from me. And then I'm going to add that to the wire guard. And then this time I'm also going to add these jump rings, which I've attached to each other. I have 3. And then when I attach this one, I'll have 4 jump rings, which will give me some flexibility in the sizing of my bracelet. And there we go. We can now attach it. I could choose whatever one of those rings I want to make it the right size for my wrist, whatever I'm feeling in the day. And we are finished. We have this cute bracelet. I love to make these for summer. It's a great fast present to make for someone. My daughters love them. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll subscribe and stick around for more videos.